Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guy says he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so it can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Mercedes EVs being discounted as much as $15,000 because no one's really buying them, and they're starting to collect more and more dust on dealer lots. Now, this comes with thanks to Adam, who's a writer at thedrive.com. And there, I'm sorry, I should give you a visual disclaimer. Here you'll see the Mercedes EV sedan, which it doesn't look great. It's almost like something you'd see from an AI generated image on X, or what's another popular one? ChatGPT. It almost looks unreal, and not in a good way. Now, again, this is credited to Adam Ismail, who's a writer there. He says, quote, Mercedes EVs are getting up to $15,000 off because no one is buying them. Mercedes EV line suffered a rough 2024, which resulted in five-figure discounts for the EQE and EQS, which I normally roast these auto manufacturers who don't bother to have the creativity to make a product name. They just have, random letters and numbers. In this case, at least the E, if you have no knowledge of Mercedes, you could surmise that the E stands for electric. So I suppose they at least did one thing right with these funny acronyms for these vehicles. Now, diving into the substance of the article, they say, quote, Mercedes-Benz currently sells 5 different EVs in the United States, excluding AMG variants, which, what a bastardization. An AMG used to be a independent third party with brilliant creative engineers and some might say artists who would handcraft glorious V8s for Mercedes. And yeah, now they're making EVs in my box with the new EQS SUV. This is arguably too many, particularly when you consider how little interest shoppers had in them last year. Sales for the EQB, EQE, and EQS, for a second I thought there was a rap song in there, all across all body styles fell by 36%, 39%, and a staggering 52% respectively in 2024 compared to 2023. On the other hand, Mercedes' state-of-the-art plug-in hybrids have shown a promising debut. Debatably, you can only guess it's for the reason the automaker is pushing significant discounts on its higher-end EVs, including $15,000 on the EQS AMG. And here you can see one of those ridiculous-looking crossovers, which I don't know why the grille really annoys me. It looks so weird. So obviously for an EV, you don't need a traditional grille. You don't have a radiator in that regard. But it looks like they literally just almost like pasted on a graphic or sticker that makes it look like it, and to emulate that old design. And again, not in a good way. And they say, quote, a range of promotions was communicated to dealers earlier last week per Car Direct, touching at almost every trim level of the EQS sedan, the EQS 580 SUV, and every AMG and Maybach model. Even the Mercedes Maybach EQS 680 SUV. Jesus, talk about a long and cumbersome name. The name of the product is Mercedes Maybach EQS 680. I guess SUV is the delineation, but geez, that's just comical. They say it is included with this initiative as Mercedes is lopping $10,005 off its glitzy electric SUVs. Oh, this is probably a contributing factor of why no one is buying these damn things. The list price for an EV Mercedes SUV, $181,050 before extortion. I mean, taxes. Imagine, I believe Texas is a 6.25% registration fee on top of that. Jeez Louise. $181,000 for an EV SUV, which, let's be honest, with the current technology we have and infrastructure, is just a disposable toy. I mean, this won't last more than 10 plus years. Once that battery goes, that's a majority value of the vehicle. And good luck having long-term support from the manufacturer perspective. Just like, do you know any of your friends using an Apple iPhone that's more than 5 years old? Yeah, alone 10 years or 15 years old? Yeah, I didn't think so, unfortunately. Uh, that's a good house, $181,000. It blows my mind how much people are spending on these disposable things. As far as the attainable model, well, relatively attainable, they say, the EQS 450 4MATIC sedan gets a $13,500 reduction to its $108,550 MSRP. The same savings apply to the pricier EQS 580 version. The EQS 580 SUV, which starts at $128,500, also sees $10,005 off. No normal EQE in either silhouette is included in the numbers game here, but the $108,550 AMG EQS sedan receives a $10,000 price cut, while the $110,750 AMG EQE SUV gets $8,000 off. That brings us to the $148,700 EQS AMG sedan, which enjoyed the largest MSRP slash of any of these cars at $15,000. Jeez Louise. They say none of these savings quite compared to the record of $50,000 off for the Audi RS e-tron GT, around that ended around 2023, which, yeah, that is just ridiculous. And yeah, even with these quote unquote big discounts, which again, $15,000 discount, I mean, shoot, $15,000 gets you a nice Honda Civic Si with a stick shift, and that'll last like decades versus these, which will last maybe a couple of years. But yeah, Mercedes, again, they're getting pretty desperate to push these apparently. Most of the comments in the bottom here are saying how these look like and feel like $60,000 to $70,000 cars, which, anecdotally speaking, I don't have much evidence. I've not been in a Mercedes. How many decades has it been? I did drive one once in my life as a fun little red Mercedes. That was, what was that, 2013? No, 12-ish? It's been quite some time. I've seen them on the roads. But yeah, I can't fathom paying a house for a disposable car. Don't get me wrong, a nice Porsche 911 GT4 RS or whatever, GT3 RS, the higher end of Porsche's 911, while I don't have, well, fiscally I couldn't, but in terms of like, I could understand the justification for those vehicles because, well, Porsche 911s and Cayman, the higher I, again, they're going to lose money, don't get me wrong, depreciate, but don't depreciate like a rock. And you see, I say old relative, but I mean, you see a lot of 20, 30, 40-year-old Porsche 911s still on the road, pretty darn reliable and robust, especially compared to the competition, McLaren. But like, I can't imagine spending almost $200,000 for an EV Mercedes. That's insane. So even with these discounts, I mean, I can't help but think this is still not enough to push the parameter enough for someone to buy it. But they're making moves and trying to push this product, but I don't see this really dramatically increasing sales. But let me know your thoughts. I mean, do you think this will move any units? And do you know anyone, like, I know with my circle of friends, the clients, acquaintances, and I mean, I want to say I know at least one person that has like a vehicle from every major manufacturer and many variants. And I got some friends with EVs, but I don't know anyone with an EV from Mercedes. But I just can't contemplate spending that much money on an EV. But let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. I'm also planning my first live stream, probably going to be Saturday night, I believe February 22nd. So if you've got any questions and maybe I can provide some answers, that'd be a fun little outing there. I'll post the time up once I get that locked in place. And lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.